sure to hit the like button. Mama said there'll be days just like this. Where my dogs at, baby?
Hey, we came on a mission. It's capture or kill.
Ain't no party like a cowboy party. But what about a Law Nation Groove? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
Happy Saturday to you and you. Come on. Shout out to the Facebook gang. Be sure, and I mean just that, be sure to hit that subscribe button, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go. Come on. Hey. Oh, what's good, everybody? I appreciate everybody for tuning in. The name is Law Nation as we continue to grind to shine. We talk Cowboys football and beyond. And first and foremost, I really appreciate you guys so much for help growing the nation, for help subscribing and help sharing and telling people, man, where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. I really appreciate that. You know, it goes a long way, not a short way. And we continue to hit these accelerators points, whereas now we're almost about, I will say, 80% close to getting the studio. So we got another 20% to go. And it's all through the help of you all. If you guys followed me on IG, you saw that we were with Sean Porter. We brought T-Mac back into the building. We got a chance to talk to Greg Hardy. We got a chance to pick DeRoe's brain and mind of what he's got going with DeRoe music. We did a lot of good things as relates to non-Cowboys content, but those things do enlighten us of getting studios and things of that nature. So we are growing. So shout out to my guy Javon. Shout out to him. You know who he is. And Derek, appreciate you. We are trying to grow this space, and it's a difficult one, right? It's taking me from this area of conversation to this level of conversation, and is always vertically going, although it may be for right now a little slow, right? So I appreciate you guys, and it would not be possible if I can't talk to you guys about it, right? So I really appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Yesterday it was just so crazy. I wanted to go live, but I couldn't go live. I was just moving around here and there. We went to the inner cities of Texas and Dallas or what have you. And shout out to all of the people from Pleasant Grove. If you're from Pleasant Grove, let me know. We came out to your school, Spruce High School, and they are the number one or the highest crime rate in that zip code, and we gave them hope, we gave them promise, we gave them truths, we gave them all types of things, and hopefully we'll open up a scholarship fund so we can give those things back to that particular school in that area there. So if you're from Pleasant Grove and you're watching right now, just know that, you know, Law Nation, you know, we will be the voice of the voiceless out there in that area too, in the Dallas area. So I appreciate everybody, man, and the grind is necessary, baby. It is necessary. So and Mama said there'll be days just like this, King. Yes, indeed. Mama said, Mama be knowing, baby. Yes, indeed. So I hope we talked enough so a lot of people can get in on this, and we appreciate y'all. Let me see where we at before we start getting in on this conversational pool. Because the first thing I want to talk about is this. Okay, we got about 100 people in here. That's good. That's good. It's good ground, right? So we don't have to repeat ourselves. Yesterday, I didn't get a chance to expound upon this, and I don't want people to think that just because we said in this factor that this is all we need in order to win. No, that's not the case nor the scenario. Y'all know what I'm talking about when we say these things. Give me 1 second. Let me build the plane as we fly. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Boom. Build it as we fly. I got to see the comments here. Boom. Here we go. And bear with me. Hail Mary. Here we go. I can see your comments now. So build it as we fly, Cowboy Nation. All right, so here we go. Boom. Here we go. Bam, boom, bam, and boom. However that goes. All right, so I was talking about this before I, got so revved up in business and getting things going yesterday. And shout out to Trader Joe's. When did a Trader Joe's haul, and that was great things, and that was things that I talked about as it relates to sacrifice. Sometimes you got to do some things. Trader Joe's. Shout out to Trader Joe's. If you got a Trader Joe's in your area, let me know. We're working on that sponsorship too, by the way. But let's get right to it. All right, so I put this, and this is a hypothetics, right? And I get a lot of people. It was very crazy, over 109,000 views on this particular topic, and this just on my Twitter page, and I know it did some crazy good numbers on Instagram as well as Facebook and on top of the community tab on YouTube. I said, Cowboys, if adding, that's the operative word, if adding Derrick Henry and Tony Pollard to the backfield will be a significant improvement. Derrick Henry consistently averaged 4.3 yards per tote, basically, even when facing a loaded box with 8 and 9 man fronts with no threat of the passer. They don't have no passer over there. On the other hand, when Tony Pollard is on the field, they keep the safeties in the bleachers. Man, they put the safeties all the way back, right? And those are coverages that in the last 3 years, I believe, teams been playing against us. They played the 2 safeties deep, but neither here nor there. Teams do not appear to concern themselves about the run when they face the Cowboys. It would be great if a team could drop their safeties that deep and deal with a combo like Derrick Henry would be a perfect fit. I'm not castrating or sullying or denigrating Tony Pollard. I'm not saying that Tony Pollard is trash. I hope that you guys can read within the confines of the context what I'm speaking on. Yes, 2 things can be true. And the 2 things are, from this aspect and this levels of thinking, is that, yes, you can have sloppy running game and you can have sloppy blocking, right? And both of those things could be the same. Or you can have great run game and terrible blocking. Those things could be the things that we identify. But from a strategy aspect, 9 times out of 10, teams, when they see big Derrick Henry, and I've seen some people say, hey, he can't run in between the splits. He's only an outside zone runner. Well, I get that too. And I'm not saying that the Cowboys should cash everything in and go get Derrick Henry, by the way. But it's a philosophy that I want to be able to get my 2 safeties on defense to not play so deep. Meaning that they don't respect the run. They do respect the pass. They do respect Dak Prescott arm and capability. So many years, people are going back and forth with people talking about Dak Prescott is trash. Dak Prescott suck. Dak Prescott ain't good. Well, play 1 high safety. You know what I'm saying? Play single high. Don't drop everybody if he's not that good. And see how the outcome of that look like, ladies and gentlemen. So what I'm telling y'all is that the reality of it, ladies and gentlemen, is that the Cowboys got to bring the fear back on the run game. And we've been voided of that area. And it's not a battle cry, bang on the table saying, hey, let's go get, dare I say, Ezekiel Elliott. No, that's shipped and sailed too. But what I'm saying is collectively, yeah, they kick y'all off. Y'all back? Are y'all back? Are we still live here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the globe? Yeah, we're still live. Good morning to you. Thank you so much. Thank everybody for tuning in to the nation. Yes, indeed. Yes, comprehension is at all-time low on the internet. Yes. So, yeah, I think that people, here's what I believe. People will see something and they want something, and just because it's not their idea, just because it's not them, then they shoot it down. They will say, well, Law is saying that, Derrick Henry is better than Tony Pollard. Law is saying that Tony Pollard is trash. No, what I'm saying is even with messy gaps, you still got to play a certain team a certain way. And I wish teams would look at Derrick Henry and say, all right, we'll keep our 2 safeties deep. We will, But out of the same amount of carries, we are looking at this, and I expound upon it, that, what we're trying to do is better the team. We're trying to get this team into a better situations. Now, the trade deadline, this is just wasted space, because the Jones philosophy is that they WLOG, they like their guys, right? But when we are content creators and we are also solution providers, we point out the obvious. And I do point out the same thing of what I believe most of you guys have gravitated to. I remember people fought me left and right and said, we don't need DK Metcalf. We okay. Michael Gallup can do just as much as what DK Metcalf can do. And that was right before they read DK Metcalf up for the second time. Who remember that episode? I went on a whole terror of breaking down film on why DK Metcalf would be beneficial. I did also talking points on how Amari Cooper, getting rid of Amari Cooper for a 5th-round draft pick, although our team is talented enough to still win games, that it's still like shooting us in the foot. But I had people to come to me and argue with me about, hey, Noah Brown is just as good. We are still 12-5. And some people missed the meat, worrying about the potatoes. The meat of the information was this right here, ladies and gentlemen. If we were 12-5 last year, without Cedric Wilson, without Amari Cooper, then dog it, we could have been even better. Not just because we went 12-5, we 12-5. And that is the argument now, fast forwarding to present day. Law, do you have any truth to this? Law, do you have any reference you can pull from? Hold your brakes, pump your brakes. Branday says, bye week is over. Cowboy football tomorrow. Let's get it. Yeah, I got something for you, Randy. Come on.
Let's go, man! Let's go!
Jerry do sometimes do something to make this team better. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Let's go, man! Let's go!
Yes, indeed. So we got to run our own race, but I want to say this, ladies and gentlemen. We are saying the same thing. Hey, Law, don't worry, man. With TP and Rico Didle, we okay. We just got to block better up front. Like, dog, I get it. Rico is a nice runner. He crease hole, see hole, and get there. He's been in the league for over 4 years. Around about 4 or 5 years, his 5th year. Can somebody help me out? I'm not saying that he is a trash of a runner, but he is who he is right now, right? And the same could be said. Appreciate you, whoever bought the hat. I thank y'all for the Law Nation hat. Whoever brought it, they bought it anonymously. They bought the Law Nation hat, and I really appreciate that, new media. We are saying the same thing. Noah Brown, man, he's been in the league for 6 years last year, right? Noah Brown, this is his 7th season. He's okay. He will be able, if Dak just hit him better, he'll be able to catch those balls better, right? Can anybody tell me what's going on with Noah Brown now, right? So we are saying the same thing over and over again. I think that a third of the Cowboy Nation bought into the philosophy of WLOG. We like our guys. And there's nothing wrong with liking your guys. Can we still win 12 or more games? Yes. But it's all about trying to see your team for where it's at and getting better. That's all I'm saying. For sake of time, I would dive into some more conversational pool of this, but I just want to show this one more time for sake of time, is that if you figure out a way, it don't even have to be Derrick Henry. It can just be another power back. It can be Hunter Lupke, or however you say that man's name, 40 ounce. But we need to figure out a way to get those safeties down inside. And on top of that, hopefully with Jeff Blasco, when he come back into the folds or what have you, we can see a better run pursuit mixed in or married in with this offensive line blocking. Yes, they have to block better. And I like the way my guy, Big Nate Newton, broke it down, is that, yeah, these guys now, they played together for 2 weeks. They had the bye week, so that's 3 weeks, and this will be their 4th week. Hopefully we will see some dividends paying forward, right? One of the things I want to talk about is the conversational pool, the hot topic of yesterday. And I believe that was by the guy name of Ryan Clark. He was on First Take or Second Take, whatever the name of that show may be. I think it's First Take. He was on First Take, and he was giving praises about Dak Prescott from another angle of a man fighting through hardship, a man who lost his brother, who lost his mom, who have the sure will of the determination of mindset to continue to push forward, right? But before we dive into that, I want to play the audio part of Dak Prescott when he was talking to DallasCowboys.com, and it's about a 10 to 11 minute interview. We'll play as much as we can for context.
As this system goes, and I've talked about listening to your feet. I've talked about, the first hitch, second hitch. A lot of times you get to that third hitch, that's what that means is go create. And we've put a lot into this offense, into the protections, as the way the guys, the block, the way their calls are. Sometimes you almost know where it is going to be open to scramble at times. And that's when you get to your third hit, you're moving up in the pocket. If you can get to that gap, they made them run around, or they've kept them in front of you and you can escape outside to allow that to work. But I think it actually plays into the system of listening to your feet. And so, I guess as you said, it's really when the 1, 2, 3 isn't there, listening to my feet and getting out of the pocket, and then not just necessarily throwing the ball away, but which I said it's all about risk and reward, right? There's a time to do it, and there's also a time to live to play another play.
From a design standpoint, Dak, do you want to continue to see some of that as far as the design runs and being able to utilize your feet a little bit more to continue to have that rhythm within this offense?
To use the scramble, or
just some more design runs within the scheme?
It is what it is. Whatever the coaches ask me to do, I'm up for it. And that's kind of how I've always been. But obviously, haven't been injured in the past, running the ball. That's not something that I know that we're coming in, let's put this many quarterback runs in. But situationally, down and distance, where we are on the field, there's always going to be a few of those. And when they're called, I'm excited about it. Obviously, we had one last week, just pop and go for a touchdown. But you can look in the past, and there's been a couple called throughout early in the year, but to say the numbers are going to increase, we don't want to give away a game plan if they are. Sure.
He said, who gonna want to give away a game plan? We all know that if Dak Prescott continued to use legs, right, that helps. Because ultimately, when you see the Chiefs play, let me use them as an example. The running game is ancillary. All of the wide receivers are ancillary. It's like sandlot football. It's Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. And they feed off of one of another. Now, one can argue, ladies and gentlemen, that even when we say these things, you can look at Russell Wilson, Pat Mahomes. I saw a chart line out there this year that Russell Wilson and Pat Mahomes got the same or similar stats, but not the same win-to-loss ratio. Not the same defense. But let me put it in this particular fashion to talk about running. It's all about trust. It takes thousands of years to build trust, 1 second to lose it. Pat Mahomes built a fortress of trust with Travis Kelce. So when there's needed to be a play on third down, everybody, mama, uncle, cousin knows that Pat is finna go to Travis Kelce. So when they try to bracket him, the underneath linebacker got to make a choice. I'm going to stay underneath Travis Kelce. The safety over the top going to try to squeeze down over the top. But 9 times out of 10, if your quarterback is in motion and if your quarterback is rolling out, that linebacker responsibility is for the quarterback, the Mike. And if he's already carrying upfield, Pat Mahomes is not having a problem at all to run it with those Pat Mahomes toddler run and get that first down. He can run. He's dangerous. I think my brother pulled up a stat line for your mind the last time we were talking about this. His percentage rates on first down when he run, I think out of 20 carries or something like that, he got about 15 to 16 first downs. It's a crazy ratio. Somebody can give me the actual numbers if you have a chance. But Dak Prescott, you got to start utilizing that part of it to hold that linebacker, to give them the threat, to also have them to hold contain because of the threat of the run. But if you never run and tuck it, then they'll say, hey, he's going to pass it anyway. No need to even bite on the eye candy. We need to establish that with the Cowboys. Run the ball with the quarterback. We got a super chat. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. 24/7 Cowboys says, we're decent at the draft, but we're not good at bringing on other players. We like our guys, fam. WLOG. Are we afraid to spend money, Law? Hey, I think we are afraid to spend money. Is there a reason why we are afraid, Law? There's multiple reasons why. We've been burnt in the past. There's no sense of urgency for us. There's always a tomorrow for them. There's nobody putting the pressure on Jerry Jones or Stephen Jones or anybody in the Jones family with the Jones in the last name. They got 1,000% job security. Who's going to fire him? Nobody. So the structure is different here. But baby, I'm gonna tell you, when you don't have that security blanket, you working. I think Howie Roseman right now, he's on a call center. He got the people in the Philippines calling right now. Hey, are you sure? You still want to pay that guy? Are you sure about that? His job is not promised to him for the unforeseeable future. He can lose his job. People are not satisfied over there. There's nobody with the Jones family can lose their job.
Do you like playing that way, though? Do you like?
Yeah, I do. Whether it's a called run, whether it's scrambling, which is something I was just a little bit more conscious of, and especially coming out of the week before of what can I add, but not necessarily taking away or getting away from what we do and who we are. And that's just something I felt, as I said in the past, have had a lot of success at it, and just kind of using that in my game, and that's when I feel free at times. And so, just listening to my feet and playing the game, and I don't want to say doing too much or thinking too much, but just going and playing ball at times.
Are you at your best, though, when you're dual threat, when you run past Dak?
I'm not as fast as I once was, or, as I don't know if I ever was fast, to be honest. Yeah, I guess in a sense, when the threat's there, let's just say that, when the threat's there, maybe, and I'm at not only I feel like I'm at my best, but also just the team, and just that's another weapon. It's another weapon guys got to account for on defense, which then that little half a second or whatever, quarter of a second, allows TP when he has the ball to, get away from a backside defender. It allows receivers when I break out of the pocket, get away from their man. So it's a bonus. It's a bonus.
A lot of responsibility obviously comes with your job, and it is a job. But are you having as much fun as maybe you were early on in your career?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I felt that in training camp. Me and McCarthy had a conversation about that, and I think it's experience for one. Seeing the game the way that I am, and being in the system, taking, I guess you can say, taking the system on and having fun with it. Yeah, I really am. Guys in the locker room, they make it that way, using all the things in the past, all the bad, all the good, using that to move forward, see things, obviously you see it faster. And even when things don't look great, there's a lot of things that we're learning from, that I've pulled from, and just trying to make sure younger guys in the locker room get it, because that's what makes it funner as you get older, is making sure you can go back to those experiences and just play ball freely.
If you know you're having fun on the field, is your tolerance a little bit shorter in dealing with criticism?
I mean, I don't deal with it. People talk, they're always going to talk. To your point, to me hearing it, absolutely. I'm honestly, I've always felt this way, the most critical on myself when it comes down to it. And so outside of this building, criticism, if you don't know the true X's and O's, what's being talked about, what's being asked of me in the position, then yeah, it really doesn't matter. But that's also something that experience creates. So yeah, sure.
What are your thoughts on Micah?
That's getting old, I guess.
What are your thoughts on Micah taking on the media, defending you and defending the team? I don't know if you've seen any of that at all. It's hard to miss.
Hard to miss. I try to miss a lot of it, but hard to miss. He's got the platform. Obviously, you appreciate it as a teammate when you know another teammate's sticking up for you. But then the sense of, I guess, comparing my position or us to other teams. I've been on this organization 8 years, going on in my 8th year, that whether you about it or not, it's not going to stop. That's just how it goes. And to me, it's fun. It's fun because when things go our way and when we win this thing, it's going to make it all that much sweeter. And say what you want, we get to go out there and we get to do it. So he can talk all he wants. It's Michael.
He said he can talk all he wants. It's Micah. If you pay attention to Dak Prescott words, basically in paraphrasing, damn if you do, damn if you don't. But you got to look at the joyous side of it. And Dak is the ultimate political guy. He ain't going to say too much things to throw you off. But he do support his guys. The hat that he's wearing, there's two people on this particular team benefited from the brand and the likeness of this team and never was considered starters. Benjamin DiNucci or Ben DiNucci started off with a hat line with the Dallas emblem upside down, right? But when you look at this hat line, a lot of people are asking, what is lineman? You know, who hat line is that? And that's Avante Collins. Now Avante Collins and Benjamin DiNucci got two things in common. They are not star-studded players. They are not starters on this team. And I think both of them not even on this team anymore. But y'all can let me know if Avante Collins is still somewhere in Dallas. I'm quite sure he is. Or he could still be on the team somewhere on the practice squad. I don't know for sure, by the way. Not checking in on him. But I can for dog sure tell you that that's a reigning endorsement to wear his hat. Lead the way. That's great. So Dak will always support his people. Let's listen to more of what he had to say. And now he's supporting Micah Parsons, which is good.
As a leader and you know, someone that's a little bit older than him, do you talk to him about maybe not letting that affect his own, like the criticism that comes from national media or whatever, affect his own mind and things like that on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I mean, we've had those talks. That's something that makes that locker room honestly close, makes that brotherhood tight. We've had those talks, but that doesn't mean that he can't speak his mind. Just because he's speaking his mind doesn't mean that that's getting to him. Just because he's defending somebody or defending this team doesn't mean that he's losing sleep over that. As I said, he's created a platform, and he's going to use this platform to speak his mind, as each and every one of you guys are doing in y'all's job. That's on him to do. So, I mean, yeah, as long as that doesn't creep in between his ears and he starts believing other people's thoughts, that's fine with me. And so that's our conversations of, yeah, speak, I guess. You know what I mean? That's to each its own. But yeah, just remember who you are, know you are, and that's what that brotherhood's about, is keeping all that in there.
I know you didn't play in the game, but go back to last year's Rams defense. How different are they from what they were then to what they are now?
Yeah, I mean, they're different. I mean, not completely different by any means, obviously, having the same coach. But when you have a player like Jalen Ramsey leave, he did a lot for them in a wild card type of manner, whether he's inside, whether he's outside, playing the nickel, blitzing off the edge, lining up as one of the fifth guys rushing. I haven't seen a lot of that. Don't know if they quite have that type of player, but still a fundamentally sound defense playing into their strengths. Some good young corners out there that are aggressive. And obviously, when you got Aaron Donald on your team, it starts with him. So still a great team. We've got to protect him and get after some of the matchups that we like.
Is he still the Aaron Donald, and maybe
Hell
the
yeah.
fact that he's done it for so
Yeah,
long,
he
and
is.
the target for so long?
He said the same day. Watch you. Don't.
Some good young corners out there that
Let's
are aggressive.
rewind.
And obviously, when you got Aaron Donald on your team, it starts with him. So still a great team. We've got to protect him and get after some of the matchups that we like.
Is he still the Aaron Donald, and maybe the fact that he's done it for so long,
Yeah,
and
he
the
is.
target for so long?
Yeah, he is. I got to play him this week, of course. Yeah, no, he is. He's a talent, though. He's still the focus. I mean, that guy. I mean, I don't know, was it 3 defensive player of the years or something like that, and a player of a generation. And I haven't played against him now for a while. I mean, he can run a game. So you've got to give him focus. You've got to give him focus and give him credit because he deserves that. He's a hell of a player. And yeah, he hadn't lost a step. And yeah, I mean, he's still Aaron Donald.
What's the challenge during the bye week of?
Man, Brandon said, "Is that cousin?" Yes, indeed. You actually, somebody asked, "Hey, is Aaron Donald still?" You can't say, "Nah, he done lost a step." No, yeah, he's still him, y'all. 35 pressure. Look, it's only 7 games. Well, 6 games in, right? This is week 7, right? So 6 games in. Aaron Donald's got 35 pressures, 25 hurries, 12 QB hits, 3 sacks. He's an enforcer. Somebody made a point here and said, depending on this game, the Cowboys low-key can, after this game tomorrow, if we play it a certain way, and the LA Rams, if they look at it and start to sell, what about trading for Aaron Donald? Shoo. If we trade for Aaron Donald, now I'm just saying though, because a lot of people, everybody else can have super teams, but the Cowboys can't, right? If the Cowboys get Aaron Donald on his defense, shoo! That's going to be like, oh my goodness. What that song? I got heaven right here on earth. We'll be singing that song, baby. He's an enforcer. I can think of multiple people I'll kick off this team to have an Aaron Donald on this team. Y'all let me know, what would you do? What would you do to have an Aaron Donald? What draft picks you would give the Rams? Watch, you still have somebody say, he's washed, Law. He's terrible. Shoot.
Making sure that you rest mentally and physically, but also trying to remain sharp mentally to prevent any kind of rust coming out of the bye week.
Yeah, bye week's great. I don't want to say it was a challenge in that sense. My mind, as I've always told you, I was on football, especially during the season, whether it's a bye week, whether it's a long weekend. Off season at times is where I just kind of really unplugged. But even in the bye week, it was exciting to watch football on Sunday. I didn't have my YouTube TV, so it was a little tough. Thankfully, the brother came over and helped it out. Yeah, I mean, it's my mind's always fresh and staying on football, watching the other teams, watching what people are doing around the league, watching the third downs. So that sense was.
Hey, Dak, subscribe to me, man. You on YouTube TV. Hey, subscribe to Law Nation, Dak. I got Dak Prescott to subscribe. Maybe he's showing you everything, huh?
It's easy, but it was big for me to just rest my body. Obviously, getting older, got to take that time and get some extra sleep.
How does your body feel after the Chargers game, because of the more running, scrambling, and things like that you did?
Sore, but a good sore, I can say. There's been a few games in the past where I've came out of and I said, oh, I'm not enough sore, and I don't know if that's lack of what I was offering or doing in those particular games or what it may have been, but that's part of football. It's how I've grown up playing this game. Not to say, hell yeah, let's get hit every play. Absolutely not. But that's a part of who I am naturally, is being physical, getting out of the pocket, and so just having that part, bringing that back was huge. It was fun, and so it wasn't too bad the next 2 days.
It was validated too, right? I mean, you played your best game.
A win, yeah, we win. I'm all for it. We'll be as sore as I need to be.
In watching the games that you watched this past weekend, obviously you saw the Lions suffer a loss. 49ers hit a rough patch. You guys actually gained some ground in the bye week in the NFC. How critical is it for you guys to come out in this second trimester and get hot on the run?
Yeah, I mean, we're running our own race. Talked about it, I guess, last week or after the Chargers game. This is about us running our own race. Right now, we're not looking at anybody else. We're not going to start looking at anybody else as we get in the latter part of the year, and those things are tighter, I guess you can say. We're going to worry about being the best versions of ourselves, the best Dallas Cowboy football team that we can put on the field every Sunday. So right now it's about being better than we were against the Chargers, and simple as that. We know what this league's about. We know how tough it is, giving credit to the Rams, our opponent, and understanding outside of our game this Sunday, there's matchups that if you could predict on paper, we'd be playing the Super Bowl right now, and none of this would matter. So, we're just going to run our own race and lock in on who we are.
CD just said that the best of MG is yet to come, and you obviously still show so much trust in him. Can you talk about the encouragement you've given him and kind of rallying around him after a not so good game against the Chargers?
Yeah, before he go. Run your own race. So many people want to declare who won the Super Bowl in September and October. So many people want to declare who's going to win the Super Bowl now. But if you run your own race, everything else will fit right on in. You don't have to look over at your neighbor's yard. Just water your own grass. Some people, there's a saying, be careful of worrying about why their grass is green on the other side, because you don't know what they're fertilizing it with. It could be bull sugar, So I would say this: run your own race, put the blinders on, destroy the opposition that's in front of you. Tomorrow, the Rams are in front of you. You beat them, and then you figure out who you play the next week. Oh, you realize, you got to play the Eagles. You destroy them, right? And then you move on. It's literally any given Sunday. Before the season kicked off, nobody had the Browns beating the 49ers, but they did. They won. A third of you guys that's watching, nobody had the Cardinals beating us. We lost. Some people was ripping their clothes off, burning jerseys, because we lost to the Cardinals. People were building all type of reasons of why we shouldn't follow this team, why we shouldn't support this team, because we lost to the 49ers. They was blaming me like I was out there on the field making the determinations and the decisions. I said, man, I'm in the studio, in my own studio. I have no outcome of the game. What year did the Rams win the Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen? Was it 2021? Was it 2021? What year did they win the Super Bowl? Or was it 2020? It had to be 2021, right? They got swept, ladies and gentlemen, by the 49ers. One game they beat them 31-10. Before that time frame, the last time they won the Super Bowl was 20 years ago. 2021. Yeah, 20 years ago. It took them 20 years to get back to win the Super Bowl. Sean McVay is 1-9 versus all-time record. Sean McVay is 1-9 versus Kyle Shanahan. The one time that they did win, it counted, right? The most. He could literally been 0-9 or 0-10 right now. Is Sean McVay a horrible coach because he can't beat the 49ers? Should LA Rams fans, so Ram fans say, hey, let's give up. We would never beat the 49ers. They got swept by the 49ers the year they won the Super Bowl. And it took a guy dropping the INT in that playoff game. And one can argue that that defense had everything. The defense had everything. They had an Aaron Donald. They had a Jalen Ramsey, a Von Miller, a Leonard Floyd. They had Tupac, Jada, Biggie. They had everybody, you know. MC Hammer. They brought Michael Jackson back. They had everything. It was the Thriller over there. And they barely won. And they barely beat the 49ers. And they had Jimmy Garoppolo, you know. Some teams just don't match up well. Shout out to you, Mary Long. Thank you. Dak, just run and play your game. Yeah. Law, you left me on hold last week for 45 minutes and didn't pick up DC for life. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Mary Long. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You called into the hotline. My bad. My bad. Let me talk about this. Now they finna talk about trust and Michael Gallup. We like our guys. So if we're advocating for any wide receiver to come into the building, it ain't happening, Captain. The players are making a strong endorsement for Michael Gallup. Let's see what he had to say.
It was a tough game. Week before that, I had a very tough game. We all had a tough game. Everybody can probably find some times and points in their career where things were a lot tougher than they anticipated and could ever imagine. And it was a tough one for him, but the type of guy that man is and the way that he'll respond, I have no doubt that, it's just as CD said, his best games are ahead of him starting this Sunday and just moving forward. And sometimes that's good for you. And not to say that, he needed that, not by any means, but this brotherhood is locked arms and making sure that he understands that we have nothing but confidence in him and expect him to come out and make the plays that he's going to make.
No doubt. Great observation for the nation. Tyrone Church says Hooker is on place to have 4 INTs. Yeah. Philly says happy birthday, Jerry Jones. Salute to him. Cowboy Nation, everyone that's listening. One day at a time. One movement at a time is the way. Just want to touch on this point right here. Give me 1 second here. And this is Ryan Clark. Dak did say the right things, yes. Davies, appreciate you, man.
Listen, I agree with that totally, but things are the way they are until they aren't. Dak Prescott hasn't shown us that he could show up in the big moments. And so any criticism he receives from Stephen A., from Chris Canty, from RC, all of those criticisms are warranted. But when you say a guy has the talent, I don't think we could speak to what he has in here. I think it's about watching a man mature, watching a man grow, watching him get into those moments and finally persevere. What I'm not going to say about a man that has gone through what Dak Prescott has gone through, that has lost what Dak Prescott has lost in his personal life, and continued to be the dude that stands at that microphone and presents himself like that, is to say that he got what it takes in here. Now, it may not produce, or we may not see it on the football field in the rounds of the playoffs. We want to see it. That's a physical thing that comes from here that you got to make decisions. But I ain't gonna say the dude ain't got that.
Man,
I agree. Listen, I agree.
He was smoking, man. He was smoking. And a lot of times people think that when you speak glowingly of a player that you become an apologist. And Ryan Clark says, I'm not a Dak Prescott apologist, basically. If he doesn't produce on the field in big moments, he should be scrutinized like any other quarterback. I do not, he said he do believe in him, right? So basically, I'm paraphrasing, is that throughout the careers of Dak Prescott, I get it. A lot of people want to shank him with the butter knife because we lost, because we came short of a playoff wins and these sorts of things. And a lot of people leave out context, which is okay and cool. Because at the end of the day, I say this, and I say this everywhere I go. Everyone have a reason, but results are what matter. What sacrifices are you making out there on the field? If you still have time to write your story, continue. Your chapter is not over with. And it goes down like this. Most people will say, hey, anybody can do X, Y, and Z. If that was the case in a scenario, it would have been proven. Not everybody can do those things. You still got to work and get it out of the mud. You still got to get things through. And what you can't do is paint a quarterback who didn't do it in the first 8 years as it relates to that he would never, ever get a chance to do it. I've seen John Elway with yellow teeth win 2 Super Bowls. He was old. But he continued to fight through it. They realized down the stretch, old man can't do it by himself. Let's go get a Terrell Davis, Hall of Famer, right? Let's go make sure that the defense is there. Let's go make sure that the play calling and everything else. Let's not put it all in the hands of the old man. And the storyline can go on and on. But what most people do, they compare someone else chapter 6 to their chapter 1. And they think that football is just because such and such was able to win it in his 4th year or 5th year. No. That's silly thinking. That's not wise thinking, ladies and gentlemen. Football is an ultimate team sport. Yes, we can look at the fact that Tom Brady got a lot of rings. But if you wasn't really watching those first 3 Super Bowls, right? You will leave out the kicker. You'll leave out the aspect that, hey, he only won those Super Bowls by 3 points. Defense stood tall, right? Eagles fans should know more and more about it, right? It was in one of those losses. Bootzilla said, Law always talking about Elway's yellow teeth. I'm just thinking about that one play he spent around, stretched out, and all I could see was, Elway. But shout out to Elway. No, he got the teeth fixed now. They ain't yellow anymore. He got a yellow jacket to match, right? Just comical. No hate at Elway. Shout out to Elway. Let's go. Lock in, baby. Curtis McCrae says one size don't fit all. No, it don't. Now, we can't be to the extreme to say Dak Prescott is the greatest quarterback of all time to wear silver and blue. No, we're not saying that. Measured will be, hey, let's continue to build pieces around him. Let's continue to figure things out. Let's not paint ourselves into a corner. But when we have a bad game, let's not be like, hey, man, it's the end of the world. Some people already gave up when we lost to the Cards. It is easier to give up in life than it is to go and press forward and go through. It is easier to say, hey, I don't want to do this. I don't want to make the sacrifice. It is easier to not work out, to go out there, get these medical things. I think they call them BBL for that community, right? They go get those BBL, they get the injections instead of doing the swats. It's easier to go under the knife, basically. People love the easy route. It is harder to support this team through the years of our 27-year drought. But what makes us real fans opposed to the fake fans is we're loyal. Right now, it's easy to be a Kansas City Chiefs fan. But was it easy before Pat Mahomes got there? One can argue it's easy right now to even be an Eagles fan right now. Y'all been winning. It's easy to go around yelling out X, Y, and Z when you have a general manager who will fight tooth and nail to bring everything and anything to surround weapons around your team, to bring in higher caliber of players. It's easy, right? To sit back and scoff and laugh and be a troll. That's easy work. But are you putting in work? Are you really looking at the chambers of truth and contextualizing everything? No, they don't. For example, let me go to this Twitter part right here. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Because people don't like to add context, and I've been tagged into this. Hold on, let me go forward. Y'all bear with me. Yes, indeed. I'm almost there. Bear with me. Here we go. Man. But now all of a sudden, okay, I feel you, LB. I feel you.
I mean, what you want me to do? We went over
y'all
this.
won the game. You know,
it's not about winning
those
the game.
interceptions that people were talking about with my quarterback during the regular season. We only lost 2 of those games, you know, but we won against Detroit. We won against Texas. We won all of those games, you know.
Guys that play championship football don't get looked at the same as guys who don't play championship football.
So you got to keep updating that resume. You got to keep
it's the facts. The resume is really strong for to date right now. The resume is really strong. The only issue is
6-1.
It's hot off the press. It's a new resume, so you're kind of looking at it funny. You know what I mean?
But it's some good credentials on that thing, though.
It's some good credentials on the resume. Dak Prescott at 8 years in this league as a starter. You know what I'm saying? Never being all pro.
Are you really contextualizing the first 4 years of Jalen Hurts? He would have looked the same if he had Jason Garrett as his head coach.
I mean, I can't give you that answer because it ain't happened.
He would not have that on his resume.
I don't know. But
let's be real. Let's be real. We be real for a second.
This is the thing. This is the thing. This is the thing about Jason. This is the thing. Dak had his best years with Jason Garrett. Though.
Right. That's what I'm like. You ain't 13.
He had his best years.
Season, right?
So the argument is, if Dak Prescott had his best years with Jason Garrett, for example, what the hell you think Dak Prescott would have looked like with Andy Reid? What you think he would have looked like with a coach that's actually in the NFL now? Jason Garrett can't find a job, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not trying to beat up Jason Garrett. He's a real good guy. Met him multiple times. Real good guy. So when we start to look at these things, I know somebody will yell out, those are just excuses, Law. Those are just excuses. Anybody should be able to do X, Y, and Z. Instead of the Cowboys adding more weapons to this particular team, they've been taking away weapons. We don't dance in the free agency. We don't really wheel and deal as it relates to bringing in players for to help benefit this team. We take away. It's equivalent to if this dude, Jalen Hurts, is throwing more and more interceptions this year, right? And he's not on the same clip that he was doing last year. So it's equivalent to me saying, okay, you take away A.J. Brown and he's going to give you the same results, but when you have A.J. Brown, he's not giving you the same results. That is the mindset that the Cowboys been going through. It wasn't until we were 3-5 in 2018 when we realized, oh, this philosophy is not working. Let's move heaven and earth almost to go get Amari Cooper. We go get Amari Cooper, and since he's been here, you've been thinking out ways to get rid of him. Let me know if I'm lying. They didn't re-up his contract. Matter of fact, the Washington team gave him a bigger deal. And he himself took less money to stay here in Dallas, knowing that they didn't really want him. We don't want you here. Where else do they do and they handle football operations like the Cowboys handle football operations? I need to know. We the only organization that really steps and meddles in with our players and our contracts. Hey, this guy should have less totes. Hey, this guy, we should force feed this man. And yet, lo and behold, out of all of that stupidity, and even Jimmy Johnson said, hey, Jerry Jones, we like him, but he's not a football guy. For us to still be 12-5, 12-5. Low key, here's the rudiment of everything. Amari Cooper would have still been here because he said he would still take a pay cut. Nah, he still got business deals out here in Dallas. But we let personal things slide in and sent that man basically to Pelican Bay. Just so someone can be right. See, there's a game, then there's a game within a game when you're dealing with the Dallas Cowboys. On Sunday, tomorrow, there will be 3 games being played. Dallas versus the doggone Rams. Dallas versus the political football. Dallas versus the aficionados, whoever they may be. You can't say that. Well, bull sugar. We sued the NFL in 1996. You don't think that they got something in the mix? Oh, excuse me. We had Terrence Williams, who played in the National Football League, say the same. Write this down. Not everybody's lying, baby. Not everybody's lying. But it is what it is. We got to overcome all of those things. But we still here for the Cowboys. We still them boys. win, lose, or draw, we ain't folding up like a wallet. The opposing people will always be tuning in. Ain't that right, baby?
Ain't nobody calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, are you still them boys?
Are we still them boys, baby? We still them boys in the chat. But on this journey, and I appreciate you guys on this beautiful Saturday. I want you guys to enjoy your family members and enjoy your time, and I thank y'all for sharing some of your time with us. Yes, Mike McCarthy, somebody asked me earlier, how do I feel about Mike McCarthy? And I think that he's a better coach than what we had in the past, right? And he's the best we can get for right now. They can be willing to be fooling around and hanging around with this particular situation. Sometimes I hope and I wish that I'd be wrong on things, but when the chatter, when you hear it, it's hard to not talk about it. I appreciate everybody who gave the support. We can literally see that for over 20 years, we've been having the same issues. None of these players been on this team for 20 years, but we know somebody who been, right? And I'm not trying to point him out, but tomorrow should have been at least an opportunity to see Jimmy Johnson go into the ring, right, of honor. But we robbed of that because we won't be able to see that. It will be D-Ware, who deserved to go there, by the way. He deserved to be in there. If you don't see that as a problem, then you part of the problem. If you don't understand the history of the Cowboys and you go to that game tomorrow and you look up at the Ring of Honor and you don't see Jimmy Johnson name on that wall, that's pieces of the problems. That's showing you that this organization have some internal issues. Externally, we move numbers. We're doing some good stuff. We love our team. But if you don't see that as an issue or as a problem, then you don't understand what's going on over here. Yes, other teams can scoff and laugh at us, point fingers and say, hey, it's been 20-some years or more. But damn, if you don't see that as a problem, come on. Shout out to you, Cowboy. Who that is right here? Shout out to you, Linda. Great talking football with y'all. See y'all next week. Appreciate you. Linda, thank you so much. Give you a horn for that. But there's people to see what's going on tomorrow and still support this team and still love this team. But that's a problem, man. I blame the media every time. Tomorrow, they should be bringing up every single word. You got to put Jimmy in by now, Jerry. Whatever it may be. DeMarcus Ware can't tie Jimmy's shoes. He can't hold a candle up to what Jimmy done for the organization and franchise. And you are making a foolery of the Cowboys. Now, we get it. You bought the team financially. We bought in emotionally. We want to see greatness up there. How many years you going to rob us of those chances and opportunity? We seeing it as clear as day now. Now, we still support you in relations of who you operating and running.
Linda Conyers, $10. Great talking football with you all. See you next week.
But if you can't see that, then you part of the problem, ladies and gentlemen. 4-letter, 3-letter network, local media. Hey, fans, y'all need to tell Jerry, come on, man. We got people that love this team, are going into the ground, and they're not able to see Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor before they go because you are holding on a grudge. When you gonna let that go, man? The football gods continuing to have things happen to you. Because of those reasons, I believe. Gotta let things go. You hold on tight. You hold on too long. It tears and it builds nothing. Cowboy Nation, if there's one thing a man should always do, is mainly to himself stay true. Never allow someone to change your point of view unless what they bring makes sense to you. Never judge a man by sight alone, nor by the height he has grown. And when speaking, keep it at a moderate tone, because raised voices turns hearts into stone. You see, in the beginning, it was, how about them Cowboys? The morals of life, live, love, and respect for another. Then there are those who will try to be smart. They would take the decent man to alter his heart, to seek to rip him apart. Those, man, you should never call a friend or a fan, because they bend their lies around the truth to meet their end. Cowboy Nation, everyone listening, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. The name is Law Nation. My mom always tell me to say this at the end. She loves it. It's all about determination, heart, soul, and sinew. It's about your mindset. How bad do you want it? Are you willing to walk through and cross the burning sands? Are you willing to go down in the lowdown, even though it's dark, even though it's weary, even though people are telling you to give up? Why don't you stop? Why don't you quit? Law, you don't sound right. Law, you think you know everything. But do they know your story, Law? Did they know that you was born premature? Did they know that you stuttered when you speak? Did they know that you were so silent? Yeah, boy, they had to hold you back. You had to repeat kindergarten because you were so slow. Everybody was thinking, like, what's going on with him, you know? He just can't get right. Do they know the full mindset that you was most likely not to succeed? You was most likely to be in jail somewhere. The man got an attitude. You think Wolverine or something. Wait till you see that little Law. Do they know the pain, the agony, the mindset of Law? That it took sports to slow you down, to build character. That you was a beast out there, to excel and to accelerate and to be one of the good ones. To struggle, to not give up, to live with purpose and reasons that people can hold on to and say, hey, I went through something similar, Law. Hey, I slept out of my car too, Law. I wanted to throw the towel in. The determination. I said this before, write this down. If you have the determination, with a spoon you can dig a ditch faster than the lazy man can with a crane or a shovel. If you have the mindset, you can get out of that car and continue to apply for jobs. Still put your three-piece suit on and no one knows it. Continue to grind. Continue to move forward. Don't stop. Don't be like stagnant water. Continue to flow. Continue to grind. Let no be your vitamin. Continue to move forward, rolling forward, and keeping up the good stuff. Don't waddle down in your misery. It's easier for me to say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Let me down myself. Let me pull the trigger. But no, if you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired, and it makes you hold everything tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, if all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you will gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, fight for it, and lose all terror of your mind, if you would simply go after the thing you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, with faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity. If dogged and grim and besieged and beset with the help of Almighty, guess what, Cowboy Nation, and everyone that's listening, for those teachers who said he won't make it, for those people who said, hey, he won't be able to cross the finish line, for those people who doubted you, if dogged and grim and besieged and beset with the help of Almighty, you will get it, Cowboy Nation. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go, baby. Don't give up, baby.
Give me my theme music.
Yeah, baby. Come on.
I just wanna run it up. County check or something. I've been really in the field, let up. Yeah. Spartans!
Shout out to Pleasant Grove. Salute to them. Shout out to Spruce High School. Don't give up.
I just wanna run it up. Yeah. I'm with Bay, yeah, I'm with Jay, yeah, I'm with Chuck and now. Still the same, not switching sides, now it's about loyalty. You switch sides off for the bag, and that's worth more to me. I mix Nike with designer, I experiment. You just rock what's on the shelf, and I'm not feeling it. Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer, call it too legit. I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. I have to take it to make the deal. I have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Yeah. Kinda check a song. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Count that too, count it up. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Yeah, I just be off the dome. I never own no chrome. Too many foes and clothes. Yeah, I be at home alone. I be in zones alone. I be on road alone. Yeah, I've been really in the field. Love the rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. I have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Yeah. Kinda check a song. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Until next time, DC for life. Salute.
Let me crack your cranium and fertilize.